How's it going, brothers? It's your good brother Shulk Krogan here. I got a lot of stuff for you tonight. Wrestling happened this week. How are you, Brady?
I'm all right, man. Are you
good to hear? All right, there was some wrestling this week.
You okay, man? Do I need to blob you real quick?
I think I need that.
Here you go. There you go.
All right. I'm back, guys. I don't know what happened there. I think it's the facial hairs coming in. I think Hulksters. I think I just channeled the Hulkster. I think that's what happened right there.
I mean, that's how. Oh God, can't hear anything. All right. I hate my speakers. Anyone wants to send me money for new speakers? Appreciate it.
Send him the money. All right.
Send me the monies. All right. So let's get started with the Raw review, and once I throw it to you once, Garrett, I'll go into fixing mode. Mr. Fix It. It's a good song.
Mr. Fix It.
I'm going to search it right now. I'm going to search Mr. Fix It. That way I can listen to it as soon as we're done the podcast.
I made that up. I don't know
Mr. Fix It.
All right. So,
all right. Raw started this week with Alexa Bliss coming out with Mickie James talking about, Alexa Bliss's victory at Elimination Chamber. I mean, we haven't really talked about Elimination Chamber, but the women's Elimination Chamber was, I thought, pretty damn good. Did you like it?
Absolutely. I thought it was really solid. I thought that there was some. I mean, I at first I didn't know how I felt about the decision to keep it on Alexa in this match, but thinking back to what she's done for both divisions over the last year and a half or whatever since the brand split, I think it's obvious. Yeah, if anyone was going to win this, it was going to be her. Because thinking back to the match, I had no clue who they were going to put this on. It was either going to be Bayley or Sasha because I was going to play into this. They'd been hinting at it for weeks, so I didn't know going into this. And as soon as the match ended, I was kind of like, I don't know about this. But, especially after seeing this promo, it was a little weird seeing Mickie just suddenly be on her side again. But it was a good line that Corey threw in there, I think, where he said that he says that the reason why he thinks she did that was because she saw that she had the gold still and that she just went and walked through hell literally and came out of it on top, even though, she looks like she would lose that match 100%. Right. And she just walked out of it with a win, just went harder than everybody else, got some of the biggest spots of the match. I mean, she hit a really sweet Twisted Bliss off of the Elimination Chamber pod. That was it's going to go down as one of the better Elimination Chamber spots, I think, just because that move looks so insane from that high up, and how she timed that, I will never know, because that's like a 15-foot fall, and you got to make it look like you just fell for 15 seconds.
It's true. Yeah, it was good. I think both the women's and men's Elimination Chamber matches did a great job of getting the people out quickly that we knew had no chance of winning the match. You know what I mean? So like women, it came down to Bliss, Sasha, and Bayley. And then the men's match came down to Roman and Braun. So it's like we knew that those were the options. And WWE didn't try to swerve us by having, Elias and, if it was Elias and Roman as last two, we would have been like, all right, well, we know which way this is going. So I thought that was smart.
And both matches had this sense that before all the pods even started opening all the time, and it was like 5-6 people in the ring, there was a chance people were going out because they were hitting nice spots and there was nice wrestling going on just in the ring. And I forget who did it. There was a spot where they hit some kind of weird springboard and did something weird. I forget.
No, women's or men's?
Yeah, I think it would. I want to say it was men's because I don't think the women would go for this just because it seems kind of too technical with the springboards. But I don't know. Women still do that, but not a whole lot of them on the main roster. But I think someone sprung up and hit somebody into the cage or off the cage. I forget. There was some weird stuff going on in some of these matches. It was good though. It was a good kind of weird.
They did a great job. So, what isn't a great job is the Raw writing team, because this promo went straight into another 6-woman tag.
Brady, can you believe it? We're getting another 6-woman tag match on Monday Night Raw.
I was hyped, man. Sasha, Bayley, and Asuka, who Sasha turned on Bayley last night. Apparently everything was fine at the beginning of the match. Thank God we had some story development there. But Banks, Bayley, and Asuka versus Nia Jax, Mickie James, and Alexa Bliss. And it's like, all right, great. We're going to do this again. Going to run it back. The story of the match was that Bayley ended up going against Sasha Banks. It's like, I don't like you anymore. That's the
I ain't gonna
big
lie.
thing. So Bailey and Sasha are officially, not a thing anymore. Are you down with that?
I mean, they never really were a thing to begin with because for the whole time it was Alexa and everyone else telling us, they're gonna turn on each other. It's like, yeah, okay, just do it already. And then they didn't, and then they didn't, and then they didn't. And Elimination Chamber, they kind of still didn't, it didn't feel like it. And obviously it took until 2 nights ago for them to actually say, yeah, this is where we're going with. Non-title, better for the feud because if it was a title feud, it would take away, I think, from the story they're gonna build. I want this to be a jealous heel angle, and I want it to be from the perspective of Sasha because that's the way they've set this up. It needs to work that way because they've spent too much time building this up for it to not be worth anything.
Yeah, but what would Sasha in kayfabe? What would she be jealous of Bailey? Bailey hasn't done anything since she's been on the main roster. I mean, since Bailey's been on the roster, Sasha Banks has won 3 world championships.
It's true. And Bailey's won like what, 1 or 2, something like that.
Yeah.
So somewhat 1 or 2. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like, I guess not. I mean, maybe because maybe not that. Maybe she just feels like Bailey's come into this division and hasn't had to didn't have to earn her way into the title scene necessarily the same way that Sasha did, because Sasha was on the show a while before she ever got a title shot,
I'm hoping that they go the route of like it's exposed that Bailey and Sasha have been best friends for a long time and that Bailey was kind of just always playing second fiddle to Sasha, but she never really had the guts to stand up for herself. And that Sasha's always kind of been bullying her around a little bit and that Bailey still like doesn't want to go against Sasha. That's why she goes back and forth. And then the crowd, the audience eventually starts, giving Bailey this inspiration. And then that's the storyline you can go with is that Bailey finally gets the guts to stick it to Sasha. And then we get that at Mania of Bailey finally overcoming Sasha as the friend that was never really a friend.
I just wish babyfaces didn't have to be such idiots, because like any sensible person in a real situation would be like, no, dude, you just need to listen to me for 5 minutes. We don't need to fight. We have no reason to fight,
Right.
Which is, it's television, it's WWE. I give it a little bit of creative license because it's a written show, but at the same time, when it takes a whole, it takes 2 segments, one in a pay-per-view match that not everyone saw, and then one that everyone that watches saw on Raw for them to establish what's going on. And it's really not a clear direction yet, as we've made pretty clear, So I just don't know how this is going to work. It's going to come down to the writing and the direction because I do think this needs a little directing to it. I think I need to say, okay, this kind of needs to fall into this category because whatever that category is, because otherwise it's going to fall apart because, they don't let them do enough. They tell them this is what you're going to do exactly. Just give them a little bit of leeway. I think they can make this awesome. I don't want the run back of an NXT feud to end and just blah,
Yeah, but nothing in NXT matters, right?
That's why they're doing it now. But what we found is when they redo these NXT feuds and throw them onto the main roster, they usually don't do as well as they did in NXT because they don't have the background,
Yeah. Who knows? John Cena came out, made a challenge to The Undertaker, and then he's like, yeah, just kidding. They told me that match isn't happening. I'm going to SmackDown. See you later.
I wonder if that's how the conversation actually went. Like he said, we're not going to have The Undertaker. He said no, or whatever, or we said no, or whatever, the doctor said no, whatever the situation was, Michelle McCool said no, that's what happened. No. She's like, no.
I think John Cena is going to go. He just wants to be in that match with Styles. I think he wants to be in that match. So they said, sure. And then when he loses at the pay-per-view at Fastlane, he's going to come back to Raw, and Undertaker's going to answer his challenge, and that's going to be the match.
We'll get some more Undertaker dongs.
Ain't nothing better than a big, long dong.
Dong.
Dong. Heath Slater faced Bray Wyatt. Who do you think has a bigger dong out of these two?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt? I mean, JoJo's going for something. But think about all the kids Heath Slater has.
That's true. He has to have she's got to have a reason for wanting to just go at it with no.
Right.
So because clearly that's not a decision he made. Or maybe Heath loves his kids stuff. So maybe it was a decision they made together. Who knows?
Battle of the Dongs.
Battle of the dude. If we could get a John Cena remix with some Undertaker dong music in there,
Dong 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 dong. It's on the internet somewhere.
It is. It's got to be.
Rule whatever. If you can think it's on the internet, something like
that. Yeah, it's something.
Don't search that, kids. Seth Rollins faced The Miz, and The Miz basically came out. It was a little shooty. It was a little worky. And he came out and said, he has like one T-shirt up at the merch stand, which is true. You go on WWE.com. He's got like 2 shirts. And he said he went to Kurt Angle to ask him what he's doing on Mania because he's the IC champ. And Kurt Angle's like, not really sure. You might find out based on your opponent tonight. Seth Rollins comes out against The Miz. It was a pretty good match, nice and fast paced. We saw a little later on why the match wasn't, super long, but it was a pretty good time. It was like 20 minutes. And Seth Rollins ends up beating The Miz. So the announcers are like, oh my God, does that mean Seth Rollins is going to face The Miz?
Yes.
And then to piggyback on that, then Finn Balor comes out to face The Miz. Is Kurt Angle a heel now? For making his champ go through back-to-back matches?
Oh, wait, I don't have the right account. Never mind. I was gonna go Balor Club. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. This felt really out of place. He was just like, sorry, Miz. It felt like they were like capitalizing on the success of the Daniel Bryan stuff. And they were like, well, what you want to call it success, whatever you want, whatever they have from that. Yeah, what is happening, Brady? What is happening in wrestling?
I don't know, man. When we get to SmackDown, we'll talk about it. It's rough. But anyway, Miz, I mean, he took almost between the promo and the 2 matches, he took up almost the entire second hour of Raw from what I can remember. So, I mean, it's good for him. And now that they're trying to go the route of Monday Night Rollins, I mean, I could take a Rollins-Miz feud, like a nice long feud between these 2.
Well, it looks like for Mania, they're going with a triple threat with Balor, but which she'll be good. I mean, I don't know what I mean, and it's like, again, it's a match. All 3 of them could win, and you're like, yeah, this is the middle of the show or something, or maybe the cool down match from a bigger match. Maybe we get Cena versus Undertaker first, and then we get we get Brock versus Roman first. Please don't put that last. All right. Then we get the cool down middle title match, and then do both main event title matches. Do the one main event title match, then the Undertaker. It has to go. I'm sorry, it has to go this way. It has to go first world title, then IC title. I'm sorry. If it doesn't, then it's gonna suck. Because if it goes first heavyweight title, then second heavyweight title, which would obviously be WWE, then Universal, then we go, then that's the end of the show after we just got the Undertaker match. Dude, could you imagine? Oh.
You got it all wrong, Garrett. There's only one match to kick the show off for WrestleMania. The Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton triple.
I'm saying for the last matches of the night. But
you gotta kick off the show with those 3 to see if the rest of Mania can save it. and also there's some rumblings that there's going to be a fatal 4-way. They're going to add Elias into this as well, which I'm down with. So
yeah, he's earned it.
So Finn Balor and Seth Rollins both beat The Miz, so it's still up in the air. It's gonna happen. So yeah,
Prince Devitt won a match. My God.
Yep. Roman Reigns cut a pretty damn good promo. It came out. Brock Lesnar was scheduled to be at Raw. He was definitely in Las Vegas during Elimination Chamber Day, the day before Raw, which is close enough to Anaheim. So it's odd that he wasn't there. I don't know if something fell through. I don't know how much of this from Roman Reigns was a shoot, how much was a work, but I liked it. Did you?
So what was it he exactly said again? I didn't even see this.
He came out and said he basically came out and looked like he was going to cut a regular promo. Basically, the whole point of the promo was he was supposed to say one thing, but then he came out and was like, I can't cover for this guy. I'm done covering for him. And he basically said Brock Lesnar hides behind his contract, leverages it against everyone about going back to the UFC. That way he can get more money and do less work. And he's tired of covering for him because him and a bunch of guys in the back bust their ass. And he said, I believe his quote was, I have no respect for that bitch.
Oh,
I don't care about
monetization. How I missed this.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, well, we what monetization?
Exactly.
You know,
we make like 30
can
cents.
they demonetize a video that doesn't have monetization? I mean,
but
the answer, by the way, is yes, they can. I'm pretty sure.
So we talked a couple weeks ago about how much of a locker room leader Roman Reigns is, how he's taken over that spot from the Undertaker since the Undertaker hasn't been there full time. Roman Reigns, I mean, you have to, and he also made it seem like Vince McMahon. He kept saying, you know who isn't gonna like what I'm saying. Obviously, I don't think that he referenced that if he didn't have permission. But do you think that this is a case of Vince McMahon is also a little fed up with Brock Lesnar's antics? So he's like, you know what, dude, go out there and bash him. Let's see what Lesnar has to say.
Yeah, I could see that, especially because Vince is trying to take more of a. I mean, if you listen to the rumors, he's trying to take more of a backseat role and give Triple H a lot more creative control over the main roster, so that he can focus on his football league, which is ultimately probably going to fail again. Although I don't know, maybe if he has more time to focus on it, who knows? But yeah, I mean, let's be real though. The XFL is not going to get bigger than like arena football or anything like that, right?
Bucks fan says rumor is Lesnar walked out of Raw. He was at Raw, walked out of Raw to show his value to the company and get a new contract deal. I've heard the rumors that he's angry about his contract because he told Vince McMahon, and this has been said by Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful.com. His report is that Vince McMahon, basically, they froze his contract. Brock Lesnar, that is. They froze Brock Lesnar's contract when he went back to the UFC. So Brock doesn't want to have to fight through SummerSlam or wrestle through SummerSlam next year, or actually this year. He doesn't want to have to wrestle through SummerSlam, but since they froze his contract, now he's contracted through SummerSlam. And that's the big thing, is he wants to restructure his contract to where the amount that
I assume he wants to do a fight during the summer, right? Is that what the
No. Oh. So even if he entered the USADA pool right now with UFC, he still wouldn't be able to fight until later in the year, like September or something.
Okay, so then why doesn't he just
so when he went back to fight for the UFC before, right? WWE froze his contract during his whole training camp and fight and recovery process. So there was like a 2-month frozen period on his contract. Then when he came back to WWE, he got unfrozen. So his contract, let's say, were to run out in May. Now it runs through July. And he didn't want it to go through July because he didn't realize they froze it, or he doesn't agree with it or whatever. He doesn't think that he should have to wrestle SummerSlam. So he's trying to restructure it so he doesn't have to. And he's basically trying to, whip his you-know-what out and show that he's a man.
I guess I can kind of see where he's coming from, but at the same time, if the guy knows that's his contract and he's contractually obligated to wrestle during that time, I mean, it sounds to me like he can enter the USADA pool now and then still fight and finish out his contract and then just re-up his contract when he comes back from his next fight. You know what I mean? When he gets done recovering from his next fight, I mean, that sounds like what he needs to do. Instead, he's going to walk out of the show and ruin a potentially good situation. I'm guessing he probably doesn't want to wrestle at all unless he has to, and just hold that belt at the same time. Because I think what he wants to do is he wants to somehow manage to keep that belt long enough to get back into the UFC pool of heavyweights and get a title fight. And
I mean, it'd be pretty cool if Brock Lesnar walked in with the Universal Championship.
It would be legendary, and they have the belts, unlike in the UFC where they have them, but they don't always have them out all the time and walk into the ring with them. If he was the first person to ever walk to the ring with a belt in the UFC, dude, could you imagine around his waist walking up to the dude? That'd be great.
Get Rousey in there too.
Dude, have her be the accompanying. Dude, she'd totally be a part of the party.
She's like on the same card.
Her, Baszler, and what's the chick from Absolution?
Oh,
Sonya Deville. Have her that be the pool of people, and then Brock's actual trainers.
and one of the guys from Authors of Pain. I think it's
Oh yeah, is it
Razor
Razor?
is also an
Yeah,
MMA.
Razor. Dude, that's your
Put him on the
5.
undercard. Let's go.
Dude, let's
do a fantasy actual shoot fight. Let's make a UFC card using nothing but WWE guys to fight.
Oh, dude, you know who's I'm putting in first because I think he'd be interesting in the octagon? Dolph. I'm putting Dolph against AJ.
I thought you were gonna say like I don't know.
No, actually, I know what it is. It's because this is a grudge match and this has history. Jordan versus Gable. Do it. Book it.
Let's see like Samoa Joe in there.
By the way, Gable would decimate Jordan because you're talking the difference between Olympic and heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, Lesnar was the same level as Jordan was almost, and he got kicked. Apparently, according to Kurt Angle's testimony, he kicked his ass in spar. So, you know.
Bleacher Report about the Roman Reigns promo says, moral of the promo, let Roman Reigns talk like Roman Reigns. Stop forcing promos on him and let him speak with intensity and attitude. Yeah, exactly.
Even Roman, by the way, I said this a while ago, Roman's finally getting involved in the backstage stuff. He's finally politicking around, which he's needed to do. He has the power to do it. I think people have probably been telling him that. He's just like, I don't want to do it, man. I just want to do my job, you know. Yeah. But now he's like, dude, you got to help me out here.
I mean, he knows the position he's in now, which is great. I think if the rumor is true that Lesnar was at Raw and then left Raw, they didn't have much time to plan for this promo, so they had some writers jot down some bullet points and sent him out there. It wasn't scripted. He didn't have time to memorize it. They just said, here, make sure you say this, this, and this, and he went out and was like, cool. And that's always better. I mean, these guys and girls in the WWE are all paid actors with athleticism as well. Like, most of them are better a little off script and being able to paraphrase things. So, Raw Tag Team Championship match, Titus Worldwide versus The Bar. The Bar won. I don't even know why these guys fought. Do we really need to talk much about it?
I have no idea. This was on the card. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, so whatever, it happened. Braun Strowman versus Elias, which, mark my words, this will be the biggest feud of 2019.
It's going to be the loudest pops at any pay-per-view. I
don't know why, but I just see Braun Strowman becoming the monster heel that he always should have been, and Elias being that underdog babyface, organic babyface that they've wanted.
Dude, on shows, he's been totally playing it up.
I see it happening. I don't know. I really
they've been telling him to put the feelers out for it because if you noticed at the Elimination Chamber, he was definitely playing face.
Well, Bleacher Report wants to know if Strowman versus Elias is a WrestleMania program. Do you think if they do it now that it's, I mean, okay. I mean, maybe.
If they do that, hey.
Okay, so screw 2019. Biggest rivalry of 2018.
Do you want to know what? When Strowman was first on his big rise earlier last year, I think he had several matches with Elias.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. I don't know.
Stephanie McMahon, Ronda Rousey, Triple H are all out. Stephanie McMahon and Triple H are out. Ronda Rousey comes out to confront them. Kurt Angle stops her. They all end up in the ring at one point. Rousey's looking to rip Stephanie McMahon's head off. She looked good.
I'm interrupting you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Brady. I'm so sorry.
So Stephanie McMahon's like, I deserve an apology. And Ronda Rousey's like, I'm the one that deserves the apology. And the only way we're going to mend. And so Stephanie and Triple H were like, oh, we want to mend this fence. And they're like, all right, all right. So Rousey's like, you need to apologize to me. And Stephanie goes walking up like she's going to do the stereotypical McMahon thing. Well, you know what? I'm really sorry. I want to move past this. Very sorry for everything that happened. It was perfect. There was one thing that ruined it at the end, though. Triple H randomly turned around and punched Kurt Angle. What's the point? Why not save that?
Yeah, they could have actually built a feud around that instead of having him just punch him.
Like,
now it's just going to be a WrestleMania match.
I mean, let's be honest. This is going to be the WrestleMania match. It's going to be Kurt and Ronda Rousey. And they can actually go multiple ways. So the report is that Rousey wants it to be her and The Rock versus Stephanie and Triple H. And The Rock is still kind of up in the air about it. So they could go one of two ways. Either Kurt gets his revenge against Triple H and that's the match, or they go so far as to injure Kurt Angle intentionally, and then The Rock steps in as the replacement to an even bigger pop. So this could still really go either way.
Oh yeah, and I think The Rock potentially could be coming up into the day and the last minutes before he comes out at Mania. You know what I mean? Like, if we hear Angle's music, then we'll know it's probably gonna be him, but it could be The Rock.
Honestly, though, that match, if you let Triple H and Kurt go, that's not a bad match.
Oh yeah,
like that could be pretty damn good. And you don't really need Stephanie or Ronda in there. You can just have Ronda kind of run her out of town, and then let Kurt get,
I mean, she looked all right in the footage they showed on Raw of her like practicing. I mean, she's not necessarily has to be. I mean, none of them have to be that good. It's not the reason why we love Kurt Angle and the wrestling style of Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan and Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin and blah, 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 blah. The reason we like their style is because they've adapted the style they used to use in actual combat sports, whatever, whatever you want to call it, in wrestling and stuff. And they just adapt that into a professional wrestling style that suits enough of other people that they can put on a decent match with these better professional wrestlers, So I don't think she needs to be that good anyway. And anyone that expects her to put on 5-star matches, you're going to get disappointed probably,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at least not at first.
I think this is the right thing to do with Rousey. A lot of people think that she should have been like thrown in a title match with. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No. What's the point of that? Then you're saying that because of her name, and because if you have any kind of name like that, then if Baszler comes to the main roster, then you have to put her right in the title scene or any MMA person. Because why would you not? Why can't Sonya Deville get a title shot now? Why can't anybody get a title shot now? Why isn't Brock Lesnar the eternal champ? Oh wait, he is the eternal champion. But
and I mean, and from what I've heard backstage, Rousey legitimately, just like at Elimination Chamber, she's like, I want to be just like everyone else. She really does. Apparently, she's getting along really well with people backstage, which is funny because Lesnar started out in WWE before he went into UFC, and people just kind of see him as an entitled prick. And it seems like Rousey has really won over the locker room. I think Lesnar has the respect of people just from the things he's accomplished, but the way that it seems like Lesnar's very isolated and he's very to himself. I think Rousey's much more. She likes to be around a lot of people. She likes to be just one of the gang, So yeah. That's good for her. John Cena was on both shows this week. He kicked off SmackDown. The first thing to take note of was that SmackDown was in LA and Raw was in Anaheim, so it's nice to see SmackDown getting the bigger venue. It was at Staples Center. And he talks about how he wants into the title match. And the match is made between Cena and Styles. When this match was announced, were you hyped?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a good match. I mean, my first thought whenever they announce a big match that's pay-per-view quality on a show is, well, they threw that extra match away, especially if it's one that's already been tapped into. It's like every time they have a Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match on TV, I'm like, that's a feud you can bring back anytime and it'll work. Just like AJ versus Cena is something you can bring back. That's why they brought it back on the show, because they knew it would work. In the same way, you can probably bring back Dolph versus The Miz because they just work well together, It has to be a while from still. I think we still have to wait on that one. But, I mean, there's reliable feuds you can just pull to. And on top of that, this is a title feud worthy and pay-per-view worthy feud and match. And they just threw it away on another TV show. I don't understand the point of it. Maybe someday I will. But for now, I just don't understand the point of doing that on a 2-hour show when you can have another good main event that can feature either or of these guys. It doesn't have to be this match, though. I don't know what the point is.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we saw when the Rusev Day chants were out there, when Shane was out there, 2 weeks ago, he said duly noted. He ignored them this time. Rusev Day chants duly ignored.
Indeed. Sami
Zayn faced Baron Corbin. I didn't give any craps about this match. You have anything you want to talk about? Kevin Owens was on commentary, and they kept panning back and forth between Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon in the back.
Yeah, it was a lot of cutting between angles, and Whoever runs the switcher board at WWE events, I don't envy because that job seems like hell because you've got like 40 cameras going at once.
I know. I feel like it's like Kevin Dunn just screaming numbers.
4, 11, 13, 22. Tighten that shot.
And they just got like one guy has like 2 numbers. They got someone stationed on the 1 and 2 button, and then a couple people on the 3 and 4. And they got like 9 cameras they can use, 10 cameras, and they're just sitting there waiting for their number to be yelled
to, Brady. The messed up thing about it too is that every graphic on screen has it. There's like 3 lines. You have your directly on the screen graphics. You have whatever you're keying out if you're using any kind of green screen, which by the way, I don't know if you've noticed backstage they use some green screen sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And you've got that constantly going. So you got your live mat going, you've got your graphics going.
Your advertising.
You've got a second thing for the graphics, right? You got a third set of switches for the cameras too. So you're just completely screwed. You have to be like around. You have to be like constantly on. It's a lot to work with. I mean, dude.
Right. You got to use the green screens, Garrett. That's how you get all your advertising, and you just stick it right on some guy's forehead in the 3rd row, and people don't even know it. hit me with the logo
with the VE.
Naomi faced Ruby Riott once again. Did not care.
Match.
This was to make Riott look a little strong, but
I thought she looked good in this match, though.
Why not just throw him out there one-on-one and let Ruby Riott win clean? Doesn't that make her seem more like a legitimate contender? Because we all know Charlotte's going to win.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. They had to have her in a match, and probably going to have her. They may have her winning more on the way up to Mania. So,
can Asuka just pull the swerve already and go to SmackDown to face Charlotte?
She could. Have all the Japanese people on one show, why don't you?
You act like it's half the roster is Japanese. It's just 2 people.
Well, and then Hideo Itami. I guess he's technically on Raw. Whatever. I need to watch 205 Live. Some of my favorites are going there, man.
Speaking of agents, where am I going with this, Garrett? Don't Samoans have Asian descent? Yes.
I don't know if the Polynesian Islands are descended from Asia.
Samoan Asian descent. Hold on.
If you believe archaeologists, we all descend from Asia anyway. So, or that area, like that East Asia, West Asia, somewhere in there. We originate from somewhere.
Okay, there is a large population of Samoan people who are of Asian descent. So I don't know if the Usos are of Asian descent.
I do not know if that family, they are part of the direct line, so I may or may not be. It depends on if the direct line of descendants of the, I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's the Anawai family or Inouye family, something like that. If they descend from that or not, I don't know. But it'd be interesting to find out. I'll have to look into that. Stay tuned for the next podcast when we bring that fact, if I even remember.
They're generally Polynesian descent, but it's a really good sauce at Chick-fil-A. My go-to sauce at Chick-fil-A is Polynesian.
Dude, I went to a Polynesian display at Disney when I was in Florida that one time I was telling you about when I was like in a lot younger. I don't remember how young I was. It was forever ago.
We have a Chick-fil-A podcast?
What would we call it? The Kickin' Chicken podcast? I have no idea.
Clucked Up with Brady and Garrett.
Clucked. And the gag is that we both go buy Chick-fil-A from our local venues, and then we come back here and eat it on the podcast and review it, even though we get the same thing every time. Yeah.
Can we do chicken reviews?
Dude, I want to review anything. Let's just review.
Dude, I'm down.
Dude, you want to review other reviews?
I told. Oh my god, that'd be great. What if we review reviews of reviews?
We got to get somebody. So what I need to do is start making review videos, and then we got to start reacting.
I'll review your review, and then you, me, and Charlie will all review.
Yeah, we'll all meet. No, let's all 3 individually make review videos, and then we'll all, of different things, and then we'll all come together and watch them on our and on our screens, react to our watching of.
I like it.
And we'll get the actual live reactions of each person's first time. All right, we need to get Charlie in on this.
We start a YouTube series that's a reaction series, but it will just be to one gameplay video that I post. And then it will be you reacting to my gameplay and then Charlie reacting to you reacting to my gameplay. And every episode is just the gameplay gets smaller and smaller because we have all these webcams being overlaid over the old webcams.
It would start looking all grainy, like we've like chopped footage together in a montage or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be good. All right.
Oh man, that's good.
Usos and New Day. Back to that. Samoa, Asians. Remember? All right. The Usos and the New Day had a great fiery promo. Usos are saying, they've been left off WrestleMania recently. It's their time.
Apparently nobody's on WrestleMania this year, Brady. I don't know. Apparently nobody got any calls this year, but they were like, none of you are on WrestleMania. It's going to be 4 hours of Vince and a broom in the ring with plaque.
Drew Gulak's going to finally give his PowerPoint presentation.
It's going to be the whole show.
I would honestly think that would be hilarious if they really just said, screw it. An entire episode of 205 Live was the PowerPoint presentation.
And then I bet he'd actually win people over as to why there shouldn't be flips or something. You know what I mean?
Right. And as the show kicks off, it's not even him coming out. He's already in the middle of his PowerPoint presentation. And then the show goes off air and he's not even done his PowerPoint. He's on like slide 7, and the announcers when he comes in are like, "Well, Drew Gulak started early, folks. He was trying to get through this whole presentation."
No, coming to you now. This PowerPoint presentation in progress. And every commercial break. Welcome back. This is Drew Gulak's presentation. Oh man,
I'm telling you,
we've gone through like a few. How did we even make it? We didn't even do grades for Raw, dude.
Yeah, whatever. We're messing up. I blame Charlie not being here. All right.
Yeah.
Grades for the promo on Twitter. Grades for the promo though, I'll give it an A because Big E showed some actual fire in this. He's spitting that hot fire. So were Usos. Usos came out and just kept saying, talking about how the Big E and the New Day are all kind of, it's past their time. And Big E fired back, saying how they didn't need their daddies to get them their job, talking about Rikishi.
Oh, I really liked Big E's line where he said, "We didn't need that," and then he rolls into, "We came in and we took what was ours." I really liked that line, Like they were saying, like it was a predetermination when they came a tag team that they were going to be the best, And I really think it makes sense. I don't mean to interrupt, by the way. I just wanted to get this before I lost it. But I think it really makes sense to run back this feud for Mania because it was so prolific throughout the year. There was another feud that got reignited that recently. That was also a feud that was mostly throughout the year and it makes sense to run back some of these ones if they're big throughout the year. They did that last year too. With Strowman and not Strowman and Roman, with some other people. I forget. There was several matches on the WrestleMania card where there was like they decided to do it because they're like, you know what, this has been so much a part of it. We have to do it. It doesn't make any other sense to do it any other way. And I just think, it's going to be a fantastic match for WrestleMania. I can tell you that much. They're going to give them as much time as they need to.
Oh, absolutely. Even though this isn't going to be the match, they're going to give it to the Bludgeon Brothers because they both ran scared from the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh, it's going to be a triple threat. It's just still going to be a good match. I mean,
are they just trying to get as many people on Mania as possible?
As many teams as they want to in the next year when they bring them back together as one sort of company that they can still be able to push who they want to push, because that's the problem is that now they're going to have twice as many people that they're currently interested in pushing that are going to be now down to one writing team, presumably, or at least one larger writing team. I don't know how this is going to work because how do you unbrand split? Because once you have a live show, you can't. What is SmackDown going to go back to being taped? They need to release more information.
Nah, they'll be all right. They can still keep it the way they are. They'll just have 2 announced teams and they'll switch on and off like they used to. It's kind of fun when that happened. Or they go one announcer and the other. If you can look forward on pay-per-views to having like they would probably do what Graves and Cole and then who from SmackDown?
Probably.
I don't even know who's on SmackDown.
Is Phillips still there?
Oh yeah, they'll probably have
Phillips. Then. Yeah, Phillips then.
Or you can put Byron on there because
Byron's not bad. Byron, I thought.
Byron and Graves is fun.
Oh yeah, I thought even the trio of McGinnis, Byron, and Graves back on the original NXTs.
Yeah.
When they first started, not the original, when they first started bringing in Byron before they sent Corey to do other stuff,
Nakamura beat Aiden English. Moving on. John Cena faced AJ Styles. As we talked about earlier, John Cena won. I still don't think he's going to win the pay-per-view. You probably don't either, right?
No, Cena's obviously winding down on his career. I think that's what this year has really shown. I don't think this is his last year, but I think he's starting the process, and he could decide, you know what, maybe I want to do other stuff, Yeah. I could tell you a role that John Cena would definitely be really good at, like teaching like promo and charisma classes at NXT.
Absolutely. Down at the Performance Center, you got John Cena run your promo classes, and Shawn Michaels teaching your wrestling.
There you go.
I mean, can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, I mean, really. And at that point, then when AJ retires, Shawn can finally say, I'm done with wrestling for sure, And no, I mean, the crazy thing is you got so many older guys now that I mean, AJ Styles' life and soul for the last 18 years has been wrestling. He's not going to be done when he's done,
And not just wrestling, WWE. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Once they've become a part of that, they're a part of it.
Who would win in a fight, Jesus or John Cena? I think Jesus would win eventually, but it would take about 72 finishers, Sam.
Honestly, I'm thinking Cena kicks out of the crucifixion powerbomb, and he pins him for the 1, 2, 3. No, sorry, he taps Jesus out. The ultimate never give up guy gives up.
Bucks fan says Bobby Lashley is expected to return the night after Mania. I'm down. I love Bobby Lashley. Always have. I think Roman Reigns wins the title off Brock Lesnar at Mania, comes out and says, there's no one more intimidating than Brock Lesnar. All of a sudden, Lashley just comes out and
yeah, and that would be good.
Be great.
Bobby would be a little slow. They don't put him against like Randy or Bobby or anything, but against Roman, he'll be all right.
So let's get your grade for Raw. Garriet, what was it?
Raw was pretty average this week, so I'll give it a C.
I'll give it a C as well. I fell asleep. I fell asleep right after the Miz's 2 matches, so I had to go back and rewatch. SmackDown kind of caught on YouTube because I had meetings today until 6, and then I got home, and here we are. That's been my day today. So, yeah. Grades for SmackDown?
I thought SmackDown was, what the stuff that was on it was definitely better than what we've been getting on SmackDown recently. So I think it earned a C as well. I think so.
I mean, I really liked the Uso and New Day promo, and I liked the Cena Styles match from what I saw from it. But for me, that's kind of it. So I'm going to give it a middle of the road grade again. I'll give it a C on SmackDown. At least storylines were advanced on both shows a little bit with the Sasha and Bayley stuff and with Cena being added to the title match. So at least there's something, It's not one of those inconsequential, like you could have missed it and like you really didn't miss anything. Cena being added to the match is a big deal. So I guess we'll see, but yeah. Who would you rather touch? John Cena? What would you rather touch? John Cena's wiener or The Rock's butthole, Garrett? This is a good question for you.
Oh, man. See, but The Rock wouldn't be okay.
Touching any part of The Rock, that's like touching.
Yeah. Well, yes, but The Rock, have you noticed when he gets asked like gay-ish questions, kind of is very, like he's not like against gay people, but he wouldn't want you touching his butt. So I'm going to respect The Rock's wishes. And if John Cena's okay with me touching his wiener, you're touching the wiener of a wrestling god, Brady. Don't you think I would never be able to be tapped out again? I could never give up at that point.
That both guys would not be okay with you touching either their wiener or butthole, I think you're less likely to be murdered by touching anyone's butthole rather than their wiener. You just grab John Cena's junk, I think you're a dead man. Whereas you kind of give The Rock one of the old little whoop with like a thumb into the butthole. I think
you're getting Samoan dropped by The Rock on your neck.
You might laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it depends on if you know The Rock or not. If you don't know The Rock, that's going to be weird. You know what I mean?
Everybody knows The Rock. Imagine The Rock, Tom Hanks presidential race. No one's beating him.
Dude, Telling you.
This is the ultimate All right, hold on. The Rock and Tom Hanks. We'll take The Rock for president. Tom Hanks more of a VP. You know, he's more of the hanging out. You know, like the cool uncle kind of. And then on the other side you got Oprah and for president, and I don't know who's another strong female. Very loved female.
Man, this is making us seem like misogynistic people, isn't it?
I mean, there's just it feels like in movies they recycle a lot.
There
of
was
the
a
same
woman. I don't know if she's still in the military. She was like the head of
let's
like
do
military
let's
stuff.
do like the chick from Star Wars that plays Rey. Everyone loves her, right?
Oh yeah, she's British though, so.
Oh, never mind then. Jennifer Lawrence, can she do it?
Oh, yeah, and I don't think she would though. But
Okay,
we're forcing her in this.
Jennifer Lawrence against The Rock and Tom Hanks. I'm still taking Rock and Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I think so. I think Rock and Tom Hanks. I think they would. I mean, you know, isn't the Rock said that he's Republican? Has he said that? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Would you surgically become a woman if you could bang Macho Man? Well, he's been dead since 2011, so I think it's a little, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're dipping into some illegal stuff there.
Yeah. All right, I think there's enough.
The chat's going a little crazy there.
Exactly, men in their underwear running around doing flips.
I know. That's what we do on our weekdays, man. Watch that.
Hey, why not? Well, Charlie's coming over on Saturday, and we're binging the NFL Combine. We're trying to get our manliness back.
I got to go film a news story on Saturday if I can.
Nice. Do you need a story?
No, it has to be something I can go film in person. Yeah.
Hey, just come on down to Florida, man.
I wish if I had the money to do that right now, I actually would, because I would just do it about this show. Because I think even though technically it wouldn't really align up with what we're going for, I could work it in a way that it would totally work. I have complete confidence I could do that.
See, with your career, Garrett, that you're going into, you could probably move to Florida and just do your job from anywhere.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking one of the things
about your job,
first jumping points.
See, my buddy Jim, he always works everything's through his computer and stuff. Like his company, he can work anywhere. So he moved to New Orleans, and he's like, "Why not? I can still work wherever in the United States."
Right. Well, I actually am about to get here in the next couple of weeks a certification on a certain social media platform. That'll give me something I can put on a resume. So like here, pretty like in like the next couple of months, I'm gonna have like lots of stuff I can throw on my resume. And like I'll be able to literally run a company's social media platforms for them across all the different various platforms from one device. And I'll be able to do that, and I'll have a free $100 program that lets me do it all for like really easily. And yeah, that's something that literally is always everywhere. And I'm sure there's a million companies in Florida that could look for someone like me to do exactly what I'm talking about, you know?
Of course. So, why not?
It's a thing I've thought about, Brady. I was like,
let's save it for the career podcast, Garrett.
Oh, I don't know, man. Career podcast.
We'll save it for the life podcast.
The life podcast.
Until next time, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Click that little bell so you know when we go live. And till next time, see ya.